Ladies and gentlemen, a walk with the King.
In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. I was silent. I thought I was right. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about my friends, my cause, my life. It wasn't going to hurt me. It wasn't going to put a dent in my step. If I walked away and never looked back, I never would have remembered it. Heck, it wasn't going to help me to speak up. I couldn't see a ribbon on my chest, applause in my ear, just for me. It wouldn't put one dime in my pocket. It would have caused confusion, too much conflict, and it would have stepped on my content. I was silent. I left you alone to face your life with no backup, alone to walk through your injustices, your inequalities, your disgust for your bondage. I left you alone to scream your frustrations, your pain, your lashes into your soul. I was silent, and it hurt you and me. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
I submit that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and who willingly accepts the penalty of imprisonment in order to arouse the conscience of the community over its injustice is in fact expressing the highest respect for the law. The coldest, loneliest place in the world, a place where I could no longer be myself, where my name, my age, even my color meant absolutely nothing. A place where I couldn't even change the thermostat, couldn't have 1 ounce of privacy, no family, no friends, no noise, just a cause. Can you believe I went willingly? I went willingly for Miss Johnny May up the street from the time she was having chest pains and her son took her to the doctor. And when they wouldn't let her in the front, by the time they walked around the back to the colored entrance, she'd already had another massive heart attack and died. I went for little Petey, who used to go to school with us until his family moved so far away, he couldn't walk to the black school anymore, even though the white school was just a quarter-mile up the street. I went for Mary Smith, my best friend in 2nd grade, until her mama took her out of school with us because schools were now integrated and she didn't want to go into school with people like me. I went for Joanne Lewis, even though she was overqualified, did not get her promotion just because she was a woman. I went for my friends in the Occupy movement. Why? Because they were willing to stand in a storm for me, for a cause, for justice and fairness. All that's right. I went willingly to jail for love of the cause, of justice, of equality. I went to jail for my soul, for my peace, for my insanity. I went to jail for you. I submit that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and who willingly accepts the penalty of imprisonment in order to arouse the conscience of the community over its injustice is in reality expressing the highest respect for the law.
Cowardice asks, is it safe? Expediency asks, is it political? And vanity asks, is it popular? But conscience asks, is it right? There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor political, nor popular, but one must take it because it is right. A man was driving down the road, minding his own business, when he saw a couple standing on the side of the road. There was a baby in the backseat of the car, their tire was flat, and the husband was beating his wife. So the man got out of the car. He called 911, and he told the wife and her child to get back into his car. And he looked at the husband and dared him to take another step in their direction. When he was done, he took them to go get something to eat, and he asked the woman about her story and took her to a women's shelter. See, it didn't matter that it wasn't safe. It didn't matter that the man was black and the family was white. It didn't matter that he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. What mattered was what he did was right. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor political, nor popular, but one must take it because it is right.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I was watching the world, because I wanted to know how bad things were. I wanted to use my intelligence, my intellect, my good intentions to study these people, study their problems, and figure out how they got down so low. I was watching those hungry children in Africa, their big bellies, their disease, trying to figure out how they got themselves in such a predicament. How were they down so low when there are those of us who are up so high? I was watching, like a hawk, the homeless people, downtown Atlanta, eyeing my purse, begging me for $1 when I walked to the car after the Braves game, watching the hungry look in their eyes. What's the problem? Can't you get a job? I was watching the lady at the grocery store, a child on her hip, one in her buggy, and 3 following behind with their no-string shoes. Mama this, mama that, mama, mama, mama. I saw her buying packs and packs and packs of ramen noodles and hot dogs and cheap cereal. I saw the tears in her eyes, wishing she could get them one treat they really wanted. She didn't know I saw when she put back a few packs of hot dogs to get the popsicles. I saw her send the older kids ahead, so they wouldn't have to see the stamps she had to use. How sad. How disgusting. What was the problem? Why were these people down so low, and why couldn't they pull themselves up? Up to where I was. I was watching until the day my dad came home and told me he lost his job. But no problem. With the savings and the retirement and the education, no worries. Until the savings ran out, the company folded, and the retirement was gone. I was watching his demise. The consuming depression and disappointment and bitterness because of a system that had no compassion, no answers in our time of need. I was watching. And then came pain and hunger and disrespect when we fell down so low we couldn't drag ourselves out. Too rich to get help, too poor to help ourselves. I saw it. They were watching us, entangled in the circle of injustice. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Woo! Clap, 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 clap. It's over. Thank you, ladies.